What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. We don't talk about this a lot, but as of 2nd edition, the core races have a billion different ethnicities, no longer just a bunch of different humans, and then here are the elves, here are the orcs, here are the dwarves. Lost Omens, the Mwangi Expanse, digs into that even farther. Today we're starting with the orcs of the Mwangi Expanse, the Mwangi. If you're liking what you're seeing, remember to like, subscribe, and ding the bell. I've recorded the last 3 of these all next to each other. My knuckles are out of popping, and it's starting to hurt to push on them. Support me on Patreon. I need to replace my knuckles. Now let's dive in. Okie dokie. So, as we've talked about before, as many of us may already know, orcs originated on Golarian's surface during the Dwarven quest for Sky, when that big, enormous celestial object struck the earth and created the Inner Sea and ruined a bunch of empires. The dwarves, who at the time lived in the Darklands, took this as an omen from Torog that they should move upwards, colonize the surface. The orcs, who lived between here and there, were pushed up before them, displaced, dispersed, and at least so far as the Inner Sea goes, are the most infamous for having gone on to settle in the hold of Belkzen, run the dwarves out of some sky fortresses, develop a horrible, terrible reputation. That is not the case for every single orc on Golarion. The orcs who currently live in the Mwangi Expanse, known as Mwangi, migrated literally across the Inner Sea on rafts and debris after escaping to the surface. Those who survived that perilous journey learned what you could and couldn't eat in the Mwangi Expanse, how to build shelter, hunt game, so on and so forth, and became a very stable insular society within the jungle, up until they were confronted by Charika. You know, the reincarnated apes that served the apish demon lord Angizan. They fought a bunch, captives were taken, the orcs assumed, yeah, no, that makes sense, they're probably just going to be sacrificed or eaten or something. Until twisted orc forms reincarnated as Charika show up to do battle, and the Mwangi took that a certain kind of way, and by that I mean they slaughtered all of them, and then threw themselves at the Charika and their leader, the Gorilla King, literally tooth and claw by the hundreds on this form, finding themselves infused by the demonic blood they were consuming. That's literally an ancestry feat for orcs in this book, but we'll get to that later. Once that inner fire settled down, the Mwangi dedicated themselves to hunting down any demons, demon worshippers, things of that nature that they could find. We're talking hundreds of years capturing and studying demons to learn how they function and the best ways to kill them, as well as experimenting upon their own bodies to make themselves more ruthless warriors. Literally upon coming of age, almost every Mwangi orc receives a traditional inlay or coating of cold iron on their tusks. The better to eat you with, my dear. And, get that weakness on. The Mwangi are governed by a small council made up of folks who either have shown the most badassery in demon slaying or the most prowess in diplomacy, both sides of this coin being the things that the Mwangi view to be the most honorable. And this honor has earned them a fierce reputation throughout the Mwangi Expanse. Literally, this reputation for being heroic demon hunters means that most Mwangi societies treat orcs amongst the highest respect because they know how much weight they're lifting out in the jungle. Foreigners who show up and treat orcs like they might treat them in other parts of the world are sometimes just outright exiled, and I am all about this. We've been talking on the internet for a very long time about the rebranding of our fantasy races, specifically orcs. And we don't need to hear that rhetoric again. You can see pictures of me places, and you've heard me talk about things. I'm pretty sure you know where I stand on that. Healthier branding of, in this case, orcs, while also leaving that badass warrior culture in them, makes for really neat storytelling. One of my favorite areas of Golarion, where I've never got to drop my players outside from a tournament a very long time ago, would be dealing with Angizan and the Charika, and the Mwangi are a great way to introduce that to your campaigns. Lost Omens Mwangi Expanse also introduces a new ancestry feat for orcs, Demon Blood Frenzy. You need the Mwangi ethnicity to gain access to this, and a tusks unarmed attack, cold iron or otherwise. Once per minute, when you strike a living creature that has the Fiend trait with your tusks, you become quickened until the end of your next turn. You can use that action to make a tusk, strike, stride, or step. haste without the wizard to give you haste, or haste if the wizard needed to prioritize someone else. You know, when you're rightfully angry that creatures from the abyss are killing your people, or creatures with abyssal ties are turning your people into those people, and you need to vent your frustrations on them to make a better home for yourself and your growing agricultural communities that do exist among the Mwangi. No better way to do it. But I've rambled enough. What do y'all think? Are we rolling up Mwangi in your game? What's your best demon slaying story in 2e? Throw it down in the comments. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.